feeling like a friend is making veiled threats to me.
I mean, ooh.
Is there something going on in your personal life that you would like to share?
With what though? Like what?
For marriage.
And ooh.
Must have done something. So what you're saying is that my husband cheated on me.
That was Brian Keith, and I'm back with another video. Today, we're going to talk about Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Season 13, Episode 6. And there was a lot of stuff in this episode. I think this episode was really good, first of all. Second of all, Kyle and Morgan. I hear what Kyle's saying, but I'm seeing something different.
Her initial on Morgan's arm. Okay, you can look down. That's wow.
Right? And Sutton, for me, you kind of fumbled the ball this episode. But y'all, like, comment, subscribe. Let's get into the video.
Yeah, let me check my shit real quick. Hotter than the fire coming out my flaming lips. You wanna play with me? You can't play in me. On the playground, bitch, you can't play with me. Got it, won it, securing the bag.
All right, so we open up the whole episode, right, with Dorit and Crystal getting out the car. They're going to Kyle's house, right?
When the elevator doors open when we're leaving, she's like, that was planned. And I was like, that definitely didn't happen.
Dorit basically getting to the house. She basically talking to them about her conversation with Garcelle. And basically, we talked, and, she basically expressed how she felt about my comments. She was like, I really didn't realize that, I said that in the moment. I was just more concerned because, we want to be there for her. And like Crystal said, like, at some point, you're going to have to give her time. And I definitely am seeing glimpses of Crystal, riding for Sutton and Garcelle. So I like that. Kyle opens up about the whole Sutton situation and basically talked about how Sutton was Kyle was mimicking Sutton, mimicking Erica.
Well, Sutton, now's your chance. You can apologize.
Like Sutton, a guy. He's here. Apologize.
Satire at best, but it was funny. It was so dramatic, right? The way that Kyle was telling the story, though, it was so one-sided. She was like, yes, it was so rude, so aggressive to me. I couldn't even get a word out. Well, Kyle, when she's telling you the story, she already told you that she don't feel like she wants you to have her back. And I do feel like sometimes Sutton wants people to have her back and be biased. But I feel like she felt hurt, and you felt hurt as well. I mean, you stormed out, so I think she skipped that part. But, who knows? Editing, right? But I do feel like it was a very one-sided conversation to make Sutton seem like she was, so wrong. And then they try to allude to the fact that Sutton has a drinking problem, which I think that's a very dangerous thing. Like I said last year with Garcelle.
I'm also used to it. Vodka, can make some people very mean.
I think the difference between what Garcelle did and what they're doing now is the fact that Erica was displaying behaviors. And Erica admitted that she mixed pills and alcohol. Girl. At the end of the day, Crystal, she's in her confessional, basically clocking both Kyle and Dorit. Because she says, Dorit, she was like, at the end of the day, you over here want to talk about somebody's drinking, but you over here have a famous drink with the carcass out that everybody knows about. With their soda, lemon lime, split splash, carcass out, some shit. And then Crystal over here clocked Kyle as well. Like, girl, how you going to sit here and talk about anybody, drinking too much when you just got sober yesterday, literally 42 minutes ago?
Mean that suddenly you can have all these judgments about someone who drinks. Like, you just got sober.
What are we talking about? So I was just like, I was here with Crystal, but you should have said that in real life. You should have said that in the moment, right? Well, okay, Crystal. We see Sutton and Garcelle go to lunch, and the first thing they did was order drinks. I said, child, the editors think they're smart. So Garcelle talks about the turnout for her event, and she was like, oh my God, it was so great. I'm so happy that everybody came out. And Garcelle brings up, Erica and the whole elevator thing seems so planned. Sutton basically talks about, like, that's what I was trying to say. But with Kyle, I just wanted her to hear me and listen to me, but she got involved, right? Sutton and Garcelle feel that, there is a drastic change in the way that Kyle is over here, living her life, and like the fact that she bought a sapphire ring.
A lot of times when you lose weight and you exercise a lot, drastic changes. Yeah, there's something else going on.
To be honest, I feel like whatever someone is doing is none of my business, as long as it's not hurting me or someone else. I mean, girl, she's living her life, right? If Kyle want to lick coochie, let her lick coochie, right? Garcelle's in her confessional like, girl, I don't know how Sutton noticed that sapphire ring because I surely didn't. The only thing I noticed was the fact that after the robbery, Dorit still had all her jewelry.
The only time I noticed jewelry is when, after the robbery, Dorit still had hers.
I try to tell y'all. This is what the people are thinking, and I'm trying to tell you, like, it's always a big question mark with Dorit and PK because it all, like I told y'all, I say every episode what it gives me. I already tell y'all what it gives me, but I don't want to put that out there because I hope they're not doing stuff like that. But that, like, with their finances, their way of life, this and the third, it gives me question marks. A lot of them too. You know, we glimpse over and we see Erica. She's over here with her manager, and we find out that the guy, you know, Jax, that was her publicist, now is her ex-publicist because of, you know, unbeknownst reasons. But, you know, it was said that her publicist last year leaked the Kathy story, right? And she was like, oh no, he would never do that. All of a sudden, she don't have it no more. We see this moment where Garcelle goes to dinner with her son, and she opens up about generational differences of being able to, you know, have open conversations with your parents or a guardian figure or adult.
Your age, I couldn't have a conversation like we have with my mom or my dad. It was a different generation. We didn't talk like that.
And she brings up something that, you know, hurt her. The fact that, you know, we flash back and see that he basically told her that he doesn't need her anymore in the way of parenting, right? And he also brings up that he knew that his dad was wrong since he was 8 because he looked it up online. And Garcelle was stunned, right?
I looked it up.
Why didn't you looked it up? Why didn't you say something?
I've known forever.
Because this whole time she's been acting off of trying to shield her children from the truth. Unbeknownst to her, they already knew the truth anyway. Like, my whole thing is like, Garcelle, you knew your son was a bright young man, so obviously he would know the truth, right? So my parents' situation was a little bit similar to Garcelle's situation, where my dad, he cheated on my mom, and you know, he had a woman that he cheated with from work. I never knew until I was 16. I knew of her. I knew her. They got married, so obviously I knew them and their kids. It was hard because once I found out, I started acting out because I was angry. Like, nobody knew why, but I was acting out because I was angry in the fact that, you know, once I realized the severity of the situation, it's just like, you cheat on my mom, then you know, prance her around with us in her face. I talked to my dad about it, and I asked him, like, hey, you know, or talking to my mom and hearing like how hurt she was years later. Like, me and my mom, we had a conversation I think 2 years ago, and the pain that I felt, because she was like, I really did love your dad, and the fact that he hates me is like, it crushes her, because she felt like she wasted she wasted all that time trying to find love and having kids for him, and instead of just living her life, she felt like she did wasted time. Hearing this conversation with Garcelle and her son, I'm happy that she can have an open conversation with him, because that's how I felt with my mom, and how emotion that she felt, and like with my dad, like some of the stuff that he did. And mind you, I tell people, like, it was wrong what my dad did, but I'm not gonna hate him. I do feel like I have displaced anger because the woman, I would never ever see it for her. There's a lot of things I gotta unpack there, but we go to the tattoo shop, and Kyle's getting another tattoo, and, you know, unbeknownst to us, guess who over here walking through the room? The lady of the hour, Morgan.
I honestly was just really taken by that. I told you I'm having a THC CBD dinner party at my house tomorrow night.
Morgan walks in, and, you know, I'm just confused because Kyle's just like, hi, Morgan. Hi. I'm just like, okay. So she's in her confession like, we're such good friends. People are so confused over our friendship. It's crazy. I'm just like, I really feel like she's trying to sell this friendship angle, and they could be friends. I don't know. She said they got so many things in common, that they're both sober, they both like tattoos. Cause even, like, I don't know, Morgan was like, yeah, my friends are saying that you're trying to be like me, da da da. And like the producers showed pictures of them taking like pictures together and how they're taking pictures. I'm just like, they look more like a couple than anything, right? And we know how the girls do. They like to move fast, child. So I mean, I don't know if they're together or not, but it's spooky. Kyle might want to get holiday. But you know, we travel back over to Kyle going home, and you know, she tells her husband like, yeah, you not got another tattoo. He sees it and he's like, okay, it's not that big. It seems insignificant, right? But he said something that was very important. He was like, you know, later on, he's like, hopefully I get to see it more often. And she's like, you're seeing it now.
I'm gonna see this, except it must have a vein so I can also cover it.
Well, I hope I get to see it.
You're seeing it right now.
I mean,
I said, oh yeah, they are definitely going down, going down that road. I'm just like, cause obviously he was talking about sex. Obviously he was talking about, you know, later on, you know, I could probably get to see it, maybe lick it, maybe, you know, do something freaky deaky. But no, she's talking about, you see that now. I said, Kyle. And it's just, I don't know how they do these shows, because if this is real, I'm just like, how are y'all so clueless if you are trying to fight for your marriage? I just don't know. Sutton's matchmaker comes to her house and she invites Dorit to come over as well, because since Dorit has so many opinions about her love life, you could be here too. Sutton throws shade at Dorit, and she's just like, I mean, Dorit, if Dorit can fall in love with PK, then, you know, maybe I shouldn't be so picky.
Pick my date, because if Dorit fell in love with PK, maybe I need to not be maybe so picky.
You know what?
PK went online, he was upset about her comments. I'm just like, PK, I mean, out of all the Bravo husbands, if I made a list of all the Bravo husbands, and let's say out of 100, you will be at least 98. A good 90. But Dorit is stunning. I mean, it's a come up for you. Dorit is stunning, right? So the matchmaker explains that, you know, she feels that Sutton is so self-aware. And Dorit's like, really? You think? No, I think the opposite. I think she lacks self-awareness. I think she is very slippery with the way that she talks. I think she was going like this whole rant. I'm just like, damn, girl, are you here to support me or tear me down? Right? But I do think that Sutton is self-aware, in the fact that she's self-aware about every little nuanced thing about herself, which she projects that on everyone else. She nitpicks herself, so she nitpicks everyone else. That's what I think it is about Sutton, right? So we see the 3 bachelors, and you know, Bachelor 1 was really cute. Bachelor 2, we didn't see his face. Guessing he signed a contract. And then Bachelor 3 was cute as well. But you know, she zoomed in on Bachelor 1. She was like, hold on, let me see what's up. Let me go see something. I said, girl, that's right. But she picks Bachelor 1, so we see where that goes, right? So it's time for Kyle's party, dinner party, baby. Kyle's kind of nervous because she's just like, you know, I don't know what's going to happen with all the ladies. We're all not really, you know, in the same place, since they love to talk about my drinking.
Thank you so much. Still going that by the way. Non-alcoholic.
So we finally see people start arriving. Anne Marie finally is here after 6 episodes. She here. So Anne Marie, she basically lives on Kyle Street. She is a closer friend of Kyle. She works out 6 times a day. See, she works out 6 times a week. And her husband is a sports broadcaster, and he also is an NFL star. They have a lot of drama going on surrounding them. I don't know if it's true or not, because a lot of people like to just believe everything. I don't know if it's true, if it come out to be true, because the accusations that are thrown out against her husband are disgusting. Yeah. Sutton arrives with Miss Icon Bailey, Miss Cynthia Bailey. Gorgeous, Miss Cheekbones. Yes.
Hello. Hi, ladies.
Yes. Sutton basically calls Anne Marie's dress ugly. So I was like, okay. So we're starting off there. Got it. Erica and Crystal arrives, and Crystal, you know, she brings her friend as well. But Crystal's like, look, I know Anne Marie. I know her from my close friend circle. And one thing is, that bitch is nosy. I said, oh, Crystal, all that. Okay. It's building up. It's building up on, what is it, like Easter eggs to what we can expect in the future, right? So Kyle finds out that Camille and Denise are coming. She's like, she woes to Faye and then the other guy that's on E! News.
Faye, Camille and Denise are coming.
And they're like, oh my God, all we need is the Easter.
What? Camille and Denise?
Camille and Denise are coming. This is gonna be so much fun.
You know, everyone sits down for dinner, and you know, I always feel like the big dinner scenes never end well. They haven't for the past 2 years. So Sutton pulls Kyle to the side in another room. They sit down and she tells her, like, you know, my ex-husband, he's moving to London, and he told me that I have to go with him and my son.
He just take James? No. And then also, I didn't know if maybe James want to go with him.
And you know, Sutton basically, like, that's the reason why I overreacted on you at your house. Sutton then tells her, like, you know, my child support's gonna increase. And she's like, that's a bad thing. And Sutton's like, it's a big deal because I have to deal with him legally now.
And so I overreacted because my brain is somewhere else. Like, my child support's gonna have to be increased.
And I'm just like, girl, you getting the cash out. You getting the cash out, girl. But I get how going through the courts could be frustrating. I'm kind of seeing things on Kyle's side because things start to take a turn. And, you know, Kyle's like, how are you mad about getting more money? And she's just like, I have to deal with him legally. That's why. Sutton's just like, at the end of the day, it's a big deal, Kyle. And Kyle's not really being sympathetic. She's just like, okay, but I'm just kind of confused.
Listen, I'm not saying it's not a situation you can't be sad over. I'm saying I think it's an excuse because you make up excuses when you behave like this.
Kyle's over here giving her rebuttals to Sutton. Sutton wants her to be sympathetic, but I'm like, how do you want her to be sympathetic to you when y'all were at your house and you kept saying name them while Kyle was trying to talk? You weren't trying to listen to her. You weren't trying to reason with her. You weren't trying to see her perspective. And you said that you had a lot of stuff on your mind projecting onto Kyle. So there should have been an apology. There should have been a way that you can hear her. But to be honest, like, you dish it out. Now she's bringing it back at you and you can't take it, right? Kyle tells Sutton that, you know, at the end of the day, I feel like you're making excuses for your behavior, and this is an excuse. And Sutton's like, you're not being a friend right now. You're not being a friend right now. And I'm just like, okay, but were you being a friend the other day, Sutton? You weren't. So it's just like, I feel like it's kind of weird that Sutton's like, I want you to be a friend, where I never saw them as these close bonded friends. I don't, right? Now, Garcelle and Sutton, those seem like close bonded friends, but Kyle and Sutton do not. Crystal excused herself from the table and she walks in like, hey y'all, are y'all okay? This, Sutton tells her, like, you're not being honest. You're not being honest. And I feel like the response had nothing to do with the conversation and there was no relevance to it. But I feel like that response had everything to do with the conversation that's about to happen. So I feel like it made Crystal, that response made Crystal be like, okay, well, I guess I'm gonna bring this up later because she's saying that you're lying about something. And I was like, where did that even come from? Because they're talking about you making excuses. So it's like, you're not being honest. But about what? Right? So, you know, Kyle tells her, like, you know, maybe, you know, you seem a little off because maybe it's because of your foot meds that you're taking. You seem like a little, you know, off. And she was like, you know, she brings up that, you know, you've been drinking a lot. And I'm like, okay, here we go.
I didn't know if that was your first drink or you had already had a couple. Something was not right with you.
Sutton gets up, she joins everybody, and you know, there's like, where's the hostess? That's what Erica said. And she said, somewhere in denial. That's what everybody's like. So I feel like they knew that some BS was gonna happen. So the chef comes out and he's explaining the food. Basically it's gonna be infused with THC. If they want 1 to 10 milligrams. Me, to be honest, if I'm gonna do the experience, and this is probably one experience that I probably don't ever do again, baby, give me 10. I'm gonna do it full out. I'm gonna do what the chef recommended. He said do 10, let's do 10. Probably there in a day's job. But you see Kyle and Dorit as they're, you know, the guys explaining. She's like,
okay, no. She's like, Sutton, bitch.
Ja. So Crystal's like, okay. She said, before we even move on, let's clear the air because you two were like getting heated, talk about people weren't being honest. Like, what's going on?
Hey, you guys. So before we start dinner, try to clear the air if possible. Oh. You're screaming at each other saying you're being dishonest.
So Kyle feels like, you know, Sutton making veiled threats, and she is. And it's the same thing that Meredith Mark is doing on Salt Lake City, right? And, you know, my whole thing is I agree with Kyle. If you have something to say, just go ahead and say it. Don't be here like, well, you know, I know these things and this looks weird. What are you trying to say? And that's the thing with Sutton that's pissing me off, because you're trying to beat around the bush and sugarcoat that shit. Say it, right?
And is making veiled threats to me.
Sutton's deflecting to a previous conversation about, you know, her ex and moving. She feels like Kyle made fun of that, and I don't feel like she was making fun of that. I feel like she was questioning the relevance of that when she asked, you know, you said that this is why I acted that way. I was projecting my feelings on it. I can understand that, but you have to realize that she's trying to tell you that there's a pattern of behavior. To be honest, I don't really care about the pattern of behavior, because I feel like all of them act out, especially Erica. She was acting out for like 2 years, so it was what it was. But I feel like both of them are missing each other's points. But Kyle keeps telling her, like, you know, say it. Go ahead and say it. You're such a good friend, right? Go ahead and say what you want to say. It says, like, is there anything going on with you, like with your eating? And Kyle's like, girl, what? She's like, girl, you don't eat. How you gonna talk about me eating? So Anne-Marie was like, okay, what's going on for real? Because Anne-Marie's like, what's going on for real? Because at the end of the day, like, y'all are real friends. Y'all should be able to have real conversations. So why are we beating around the bush and not saying what it is, right? She said, just go ahead and say it.
I'm not saying anything right now. Is there something going on in your personal life that you would...
So Sutton's like, okay, so is there anything going on in your personal life? And I'm happy that someone finally said it. Finally. Garcelle's like,
In her marriage.
share?
With what though? Like what?
For marriage.
Really?
thank you. So everyone's like, oh, really? Wow. So Garcelle's like, you have a new band. What's up with your new ring, the sapphire ring?
Such a weird thing to say to, I mean, where'd you get that necklace?
Zara?
Faye's like, I think this conversation is very inappropriate. Garcelle's like,
Who said that?
this is Faye. She's like, oh. I was like, look, it was a gift for myself. I can gift myself. And Sutton's like, okay, it's cleared up then. We have nothing to talk about. And Kyle's like, are you trying to say that my husband tried to cheat on me?
Joy, they think I was a gift because you must have done something. So what you're saying is that my husband cheated on me?
Everybody's gagged. And, you know, the room is quiet. Stunned, actually. Anne-Marie was like, so you can't work out. You can't do this. You can't do that. And that's basically where the episode ends, because, you know, Kyle was just, like, spiraling at this point, because she don't know what's going on with her marriage, to be honest. She already told them that she was in a bad place from the beginning. And she feels like it's kind of messed up for them to take this opportunity to beat her while she's down. But the thing about it, Kyle, you say that they're beating you while you're down, but you're not telling anybody anything. You're basically a closed book, and if this is your friends, then why not share like what you're going through? But I mean, it is what it is, y'all. But this was a great episode. Hope you guys like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Brian Keith, LG, Black Butte. Bet you didn't know we the Holy Trinity. Now let a God stop at y'all and break your head here. Step into the room and get up in the bed. It tastes sweet, that's cause I'm good. It tastes sour cause I'm better than the hood. Cause I get you hyper when I'm running all around, cause I excite ya. Let me talk real quick. You can't even get with the shit. You wanna go toe to toe with my flow? This sour candy all I really asked for. Now I got to go. Got